What's up, y'all? Preston from Fight Media 360 here. So this is a quick preview and prediction for Jason Moloney versus Joshua Greer Jr. So before we get into all this, I just want to say this fight takes place on the main card of Joshua Franco versus Andrew Moloney 3. So if you want to watch it, this will be on ESPN or ESPN Plus. You know, if you have cable, you can watch it on ESPN, but if you have just the ESPN Plus app, then you could just watch on there. But if you have both, just do whatever you want. So now we got that out the way. So now let's talk about the odds and then what they need to do to win, and then my final prediction. So Jason Moloney is listed as the favorite in this fight. He is a negative 700 favorite in this fight, and yeah. So now we got that out the way. So now let's talk about what they need to do to win, and then my final prediction. So let's start off with the favorite, Jason Moloney. So what I would like to see from Jason Moloney is I would like to see him box up close against Joshua Greer, kind of like what he always does, box up close. Because the reason why is because you can't box at distance against him. You can, he does have the height advantage over him, but Joshua Greer does like to bounce around, and it's gonna be kind of tough to fight at far distance against Greer. You could, but I think the easiest way is to fight up close against Joshua Greer, and kind of like just outbox him and pretty much just point him like by doing that, because again Joshua Greer, he does like to bounce on his feet, and he likes to use the jab a lot, So even though he is pretty easy to hit, it is kind of hard to like box like far distance against him because especially because they're both almost similar size. Like it's gonna be kind of tough because he's like bounces on his feet a whole lot. But I would just like to see him just boxing the inside and pretty much just outspeed what's his name, Joshua Greer, and pretty much just make him very, very uncomfortable in there, and just make him have a lot of issues in the fight. Like get through the jab of Greer, because Greer is gonna throw that jab probably the whole fight, because Greer's most like known punch, like his favorite punch is probably like the jab that he uses a lot. So he definitely just need to get through that jab and pretty much just try to like get through that and try to like beat him up there, and then pretty much just try to just rough him up, and try to look for the stoppage. So that's what Jason Moloney needs to do to win. So yeah. So now for Joshua Greer, what I would like to see from him is I want to see him fight kind of like how he did in that other fight where he lost to Mike Plania, because he should have beat Mike Plania. I thought that Mike Plania was just slow for him. He was strong, but he was just slow with his feet. Hands were down. There was many moments where Joshua Greer could have hit him and dropped him or hurt him with a lot of shots and outbox him. So he needs to yes, bounce on your feet, but you gotta throw more punches. Like you gotta throw more than just the jab. You gotta let your other hand go. When Moloney's getting in the inside, make him pay. Throw combos and counter him and move your feet around, and then again use your jab to keep Moloney off of you, because like you can't just like stand there and bounce your feet around. Yes, using your feet is very important, but you can't just bounce your feet around and not punch. Because again, in that fight against Mike Plania, there was a lot of moments where he could have just hit Plania so easily. He was very worrisome of Plania hurting him, But he got to take chances, Like you got to bounce on your feet, throw more punches instead of just using the jab. Yes, use the jab in this fight. The jab will definitely be the key, but throw more punches than just the jab. Because you're not going to win the fight by doing a jab, because Moloney is just going to go through that jab and beat you up if you're just going to shoot a jab at him. You have to move your feet around, throw more punches, and whenever Moloney's trying to come in the inside and hit you, make him pay with your combos. And then once he tries to throw with him, and then pretty much after that, make it a boxing fight and try to outpoint Moloney. You know, because like you're not, because again, you're not gonna win by just standing, by just just moving your feet around, not throwing. Because like you need to throw punches, and you definitely need to catch Moloney slipping, because Moloney does get caught slipping a lot. Even in the fight against Noya Inoue, usually Noya Inoue usually catches everybody slipping. So, but I'm just saying he does get caught a lot. He does get caught a lot, and he does you know, take a lot of chances. So whenever Moloney's trying to take chances, you gotta crack him with your power, man. Like you can't just bounce your feet around. I do think that Joshua Greer can be good. He can be good, but just man, dude, it just as of right now, he's just all hype, man. Like that fight against Mike Plania, he should have beat Mike Plania. Mike Plania lost to Juan Carlos Payano, I think. That was his only loss. You should have beat him, man. You should have beat him. You should have put on a masterclass against him. Yes, Mike Plania was bigger, but you should have still put on a clinic, because you had the skill set to do that. He was just very worrisome of getting hit by Plania's power. But you can't be that worrisome in this kind of fight, because if you're going to be worrisome of that against a guy like Jason Moloney, you're going to get stopped, and you're going to get beaten up badly. So you gotta just throw more punches and take a lot of chances. I know that Moloney doesn't hit that hard, but he does throw a lot of punches, and that's why he got a lot of stoppages. So he definitely needs to just box out like I know that you're the shorter fighter with the shorter reach, but the best chance of you winning is boxing at far distance. Because you can't beat him at boxing in close distance or mid range, because Moloney is just because Moloney has the arm reach, to just hit you at mid range. So you have to box him at far range, man. So you can't just let him do that. So So that's what Joshua Greer needs to do to win. So yeah. So my final prediction for this fight, again, this is gonna be a good fight. This is gonna be a good fight, man. I don't think that Greer sucks or just doesn't have a chance, man. It's a good fight, but if I would have to pick one, I think the right choice is a Jason Moloney stoppage in the later rounds. Reason why is because I just think Jason Moloney is way too fast and just more skilled and has more experience in the higher level than Joshua Greer. And I just think the speed of Moloney and the footwork of Moloney would just be way too much for him. And the reason why I would say in the later rounds is because, again, Joshua Greer does like to move around, and I do think that it's going to take a little bit. I do think it's going to be a complete shutout for Jason Moloney, but it is going to take a bit for him to stop him. He needs to get used to Joshua Greer bouncing on his feet, but then once he gets that, I think that he's going to definitely look for the stoppage. I just think that Jason Moloney just way too much for Joshua Greer, man. He's just way too fast, way too skilled. He's the taller, longer fighter, and he's very, very good at boxing at close range, and that's what he definitely needs to do in this fight. And I think that will pay off, and that will win this fight, and he will win this fight by a TKO in the later round. So yeah, so that's my final prediction. I got Jason Moloney by a stoppage in the later rounds. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm Preston from Fight Media 360, and thank y'all for watching this video.